I realize there's a lot of confusion about the patterns, the labels of these patterns, and what they mean, and if you are one or the other, what does it mean, or can you be both? These labels like left AIC, right BC, right TMCC, PEC, or patho-PEC, those are the main ones. You just have to keep in mind those are just descriptions of the state of someone's body. You know, when someone comes to see you and they lie down on your table and you test them, their ranges of motion are generally going to indicate that your body is positioned, your pelvis is oriented to the right. The left side is forward, the right side is back. This left side forward, right side back is the left AIC pattern. And what it usually coincides with is a pelvis that is oriented to the right. The entire body is usually oriented to the right. Okay, so that's what that left AIC, right BC, right TMCC pattern is. It describes a human that is right dominant first, but when you lay down on the table and someone tests you, it simply means that you are oriented. You look like you're laying straight, but underneath your skeleton, your pelvis, your rib cage, your neck, your head are all in a position that it would be if you were on your right leg and moving forward. So if you were standing on your right leg and your left foot was in the air as you're walking, well, that's the left AIC pelvis. The right side of the pelvis would be back, the left side of the pelvis would be forward because the left leg is swinging through the air, the right hip is being held back as you're being stabilized. The right BC pattern is the position that the rib cage will be in when you're on your right leg and that left leg is swinging through the air. It's the same thing. The right shoulder will be down, there'll be compression through the right side to stabilize you, and the same thing with the head and the neck. But this is the important thing. Underneath whatever you are, if you're just labeled a PEC, I'm not even gonna get into it, I've made a video about it. Just underneath every PEC pattern is a left AIC, right BC. So here's a left AIC. Left side of the pelvis is forward, right side is back. Okay, this is right stance, left swing phase of walking. That's how your pelvis is positioned when you lie down on that table. And it's how the pelvis should be if you're on your right leg. It's not how your pelvis should be if you're on your left leg, but it is. That means that you are in the pattern. Left AIC, right BC. PEC, or bilateral AIC, I don't want to even get into the labels. Sometimes, for various reasons, not only is the left side forward, now the right side comes forward also. Okay? This means your body is essentially in double swing phase of walking. Both your legs are, the muscular activity of both of your legs are reflecting legs that are swinging through the air, not legs that are stable on the ground. So you got overactive hip flexors. That is what I'm just going to say, that's the pelvis forward on both sides. The rib cage will be up on both sides. All right, I'll go there. Generally, that will be regarded, that means it's going to limit your rotation, your ability to rotate. Your back muscles will be tight, the QL, all the paraspinals, all the back extensors, they're all going to be tight. Let's just call it that, the PEC pattern. But underneath that PEC pattern, if you want to call it that, it's just a lot of tension, that's really what you're dealing with. Underneath that is still a left AIC, right BC pattern because of that bigger right diaphragm. If the left diaphragm were bigger than the right side, then the situation would be opposite, but it's not. So underneath every bilateral issue, pelvis forward on both sides, is still a left AIC pattern, which means the right side will move back more quickly than the left side will come back. And that's shown every single time. The right leg will adduct faster than the left leg will adduct, or more easily. The right leg will adduct more easily than the left. So that's what you have to remember. No matter what you're labeled, underneath whatever that label is, that's why I don't like to use the labels too much, is still a left AIC patterned human, because the left AIC pattern describes a right dominant human because of this bigger right diaphragm and because of how our brain function is organized. So just hopefully that makes some sense and you don't get overly concerned about your symptoms, whether your symptoms are part of a PEC pattern or a patho pattern or whatever. It's a human pattern. It simply means your body cannot alternate from side to side without restriction. And so hopefully that will clear some things up. Just remember, underneath any pattern is still the left AIC, right BC, because all that is saying is that you are a right dominant human that does better job of stabilizing themselves on the right side than on the weaker left side.